Tea, Earl Grey, hot. Hi everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Boring JavaScript. I'm your host, the Virtuoid, aka Mike Smith, and today we're going to be talking about setInterval. That's right, you need some sort of timer, need some sort of alarm clock. setInterval is the thing you need to use. You want to see how it works? Let's get started. Now, setInterval is not available in Node, so I've got a little browser session that I'm running to be able to show you how it operates. And for this example, I've got a very simple little web page with a results div in which I'm going to print all the results that I have for the setInterval example into that. So what you should expect to see is just a little header and then some information to get output after that. And this is going to be the module that I will run. And let's take a look at that right now. Now, setInterval basically allows you to run a function at particular intervals, thus the word setInterval. For instance, if you want to run a function once every 5 seconds, or once every 10 seconds, or once every 700 years, that's possible. No big deal. So the setInterval command, which is right here, takes two arguments. The first argument is the function that will be run, and the second argument is the amount of time. And this time is expressed in milliseconds. And remember, there are 1,000 milliseconds per second. So in this case, I've got this timeout set for 2,000 milliseconds. That means once every 2 seconds, it should print out a message. The function, setInterval, just simply sends some text to the results div, and it will send this text. So I should expect to send that text every single time it operates. So again, once the setInterval executes, or it sets everything up, it will return a handle. And that handle is extremely important. That I'll show you in the next video. For now, I'm going to ignore it. You want to see how it runs? Let's take a quick look. So let's go over to my browser, and let's go setInterval 1. setInterval, excuse me. Boom, yep. Once every 2 seconds, I get that message printed out. But I want you to notice something very strange here. Well, it's not really strange. This is how it was programmed. This setInterval is going to go on forever and ever and ever. So obviously, you need some sort of way to be able to stop this setInterval from executing. And I'm going to show you that next. So how do you stop a setInterval from executing forever and ever and ever? Well, that's where that handle comes in, and using setInterval's cousin, the clearInterval. Let's get straight into the code, shall we? In my HTML, I've just gone ahead and set the script source to a new JavaScript source. So let's go straight into that. Not a lot has changed in this JavaScript source, but one very important change has occurred here. The setInterval function, I am now passing 3 arguments. First one, again, is the function. The second one is the timeout. But the third one is a variable that will be passed as the argument to the setInterval function, or the function that you pass. So in this case, with setInterval function, notice now I have params as my argument. And params has a count inside of it. Why is that going to be important? Well, you'll find out here in a second. That's very important, that I'm going to be counted so that when the count reaches 5, I'm going to be incrementing it here. And so when the count reaches 5, I want to stop the setInterval. And to stop the setInterval, I issue the clearInterval instruction. And the clearInterval instruction takes one argument, and that argument is the handle that was returned from the setInterval. So if you pass an invalid handle, nothing's going to happen. So that is the way to stop a setInterval, is by issuing a clearInterval and pass it the handle that was originally passed or returned to you from the setInterval. And so in this case, what I should expect to happen is that this text get executed 5 times. And once I'm greater than or equal to 5, I'm going to clear out the interval, and then this message will print out. That's what I expect to see. You want to see it happen? Let's take a look. So let's go back into the browser and notice that my original program is, like I said, it's been executing forever and ever and ever and ever. Let's just now take a look at the new one. Let's go to setInterval 1. And there's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and it stopped. Hey, so it worked great. So that is how you stop a setInterval. Make sure you save the handle that it returns and then issue a clear interval to be able to stop that interval from executing forever and ever. And really, that's pretty much it for setInterval and clearInterval. There's really not much more to show you, but I really thought you needed a real-world example of how that would work. So I thought, what is more real-world than creating a quick little game? So I created a game that, actually, let me just show you what it looks like here first before we do anything else. Let's go back into my browser, and let's go into game. So the object of the game here is that once we start the game off, you're going to have 5 seconds to prepare yourself, and once the 5 seconds have elapsed, a bar of 4 different colors will appear below it where it says click to start and above where it has the 4 different blocks. And the name of that color will appear where it says click to start. Your goal within the space of 10 seconds is to click on the color that is showing up there. So if yellow comes up, you click on yellow. If green comes up, you click on green. Blue comes up, you click on blue, so on and so forth. Once that timer finishes up, the game is over and there's not anything you can do past that point. It's basically like a whack-a-mole type game. You want to see how it kind of operates really quick first? So let's just click to start. Got a countdown. Hope you can hear that. I got to click on yellow. Okay, let's click on blue. Whoop, got to click on green now. Oh, click on green again. Let's click on blue. Yep, blue again, and let's click on green, and then green again, and then up. Game is now over. I did 8 clicks, so you can see how that works. So in this particular case, we're going to have 2 intervals that we need to work with. The first interval is the one to start the countdown, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown. The second interval is going to be our timer. So let's now go back into the code and take a look at that. So here is the code. Not a whole lot of code there, and I'm not going to go through the whole shooting match here, but I'm going to go through the really important pieces of it. The first one is that we've got to set our 2 timers up. The first one is going to basically set here's my click to start, and I'm going to set up a click that when I do click on start, I'm going to run a function called run the game. Run the game is going to do my very first interval, and that very first interval is going to be the second counter that's going to go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and so on and so forth. This is the countdown interval, so let's find the countdown interval function, and there's the countdown interval. And just like I did on the second example, when I showed clearInterval, I'm doing just a little countdown. If the countdown hits 0, I'm going to clear out the interval because obviously once I get to 0, I'm going to clear it out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the go. I'm going to change the class list to black. I'm going to set the very first color, but then I'm going to set another interval called clock interval, and that's going to run the stopwatch at the very end. Notice that my timeout is 10 milliseconds. That means I want that thing to update once every 100th of a second. So let's take a look at the clock interval function. And there's the clock interval function. And it does pretty much the exact same thing. It decrements the clock by 0.01, and once it gets to less than or equal to 0, and I'm using less than or equal to 0 because it is IEEE format, so there could be some problems with this, and don't come yelling at me, you don't have to have less than. I gotta have less than, believe me. I'm going to sound that really funky thing at the end of the game. I'm going to print a 0 for the clock. Then I'm going to clear that interval because, again, I don't want that interval to continue to operate. And I'm going to print out the list of game over and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm not going to go much in detail about the rest of the code there. The key here is that I've got one interval that is going to execute the countdown. That's going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that was way up here. And that interval was at 1,000 milliseconds. Then once that finishes executing, I'm going to start a second interval at 10 milliseconds. And once that finishes executing, I'm going to sound that sound and and stop the game. So let's see how fast I'm actually at this. So let's do a refresh. Let's do a click on start. I have 5 seconds to prepare. Oh, nice! fine. Yeah, I'm not very good at this game. So as you can tell, this is just a very simple game to show you how you can use setInterval and clearInterval to basically do wonderful timing. In fact, this is a great little game that you can really develop into a very cute little whack-a-mole type game. This code is available on our GitHub site, which you'll see at the very end, an address at the very end of this video here. So that's a real-world application of how you can use setInterval and clearInterval. Well, that's all there is on setInterval and its cousin clearInterval. I hope you enjoyed our video. Hope I didn't bore you to death. Please visit our website at www.boringjavascript.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or see everything at blog.thevirtuoid.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.